Draftstars crew, we're here for round 13. There's 5 games that are going to get us there, and very excited for all 5 of them. I think it's going to be very fun to see a couple of these debutants come in and be able to do a job. It obviously means we get some cheap guys on our list here to be able to pick up, and some other guys that will go into different roles that they may not have been able to get, and be able to pick up some extra points there, which is going to be great. So let's move to the outside backs in this Dolphins and Dragons clash, and not a lot of change in this one. Actually don't really like Cody Nikorima too much in that fullback position. I think he does score better in the 6, so yeah, if you're looking at him, probably not the best guy to actually slot into your side. A lot of these guys actually don't really appeal to me too much. I think you probably need to spend up a little bit, and that's going to be around guys like Jermaine Osako, who I think is the best scorer in this game, along with Zach Lomax and Ravalawa. They're the 3. I think you select 2 of them. I don't think you go for the flex in this outside backs position here. In the halves and hookers, you got Isaiah Katoa splitting the position 7 and 6 with Anthony Milford, and I believe that they're just going to share the responsibility. So I'm not going to pick any of them up. Jacob Little's still really, really cheap, and I think he's a guy that you will want to have in your side most likely, along with Jaden Sullivan, who gets 80 minutes in that 7. So they're the 2 cheap guys. You could potentially go both of them. One of them and Jeremy Marshall-King, who is clearly the best scorer in this position. But Moses Mbai comes back into the 9 position instead of Sullivan, and will split that time with Little. So completely up to you how you want to play that one. And in the forwards there, you've got Jack DeBellin is up in near 23,000 now, which completely makes sense with the form that he's in. If you want to have someone that's going to be playing some pretty decent minutes, then it's Ray Stone in that 13 role. Current recent form is 34, his average. So I think he can get somewhere above that pretty comfortably here in this game, where he's going to get really good minutes. And Ben Murdoch-Masila came in with an 80-minute performance last week and got a 39. I think he can get somewhere above that 30, and at 9k he's pretty much a must-have now to be able to fill all the other more expensive guys, especially in the outside backs. And if you want Jeremy Marshall-King, or you're looking at like a Jack DeBellin up top, then that's going to be the way you do it. So I think DeBellin over Bird, considering they're very much at the same price there. If you're looking at the Eels v Cowboys in that secondary game on Friday evening there, you've got Drinkwater was the only real outside back or any scorer in that Cowboys team to do well last week. So he's going to be one of those guys, again, that I think can do really well and carry the Cowboys a little bit. I expect the Eels to win, even with their forward pack being decimated. Joe Offengawe comes over, because he really helps out with Junior going to Origin, and also Madison going down with injury. So we'll speak about the forwards in a second and how many of them are must-haves, but I think Drinkwater is going to be pretty important, as well as all these other guys. You got Gutho, who hasn't scored super well of recent time. Kyle Felt's been doing all right, but I expect them to lose. He could just come out and be their lone scorer, him or Drinkwater, but I would be avoiding all of the Cowboys outside backs, and potentially just go for one of their halves or one of their forwards to kind of get the allotment of players, because I'm not expecting big things for the Cowboys here. Guys like Bailey Simonson are definitely a solid one there. Or you could go for Zach Labart, who I think is someone that's been spoken about for a while, and will be a solid pickup for the Cows if you need someone at 9k. 2 debutants there for the Cows. Halves and hookers, it's very hard to select anyone from the Cowboys outfit. You do have Ben Hampton coming in, but Townsend will do the majority of the work there, and you need to select one of Mitch Moses or Dylan Brown. There's no other way around that one. And then the forwards, I really think Hopgood's a must-have. The 20,000 that's on offer, it's a lot, but he's going to be someone that, at a minimum, he's hitting a 60 in this game, unless there's an injury or something like that. Cartwright has the 80 minutes on the edge. You've got Joe O, who's going to be getting decent minutes here, like sort of around that 50 minutes there for the Eels. And really, you've got still cheap prices there for guys like Greg, who coming off a 32 and then a 47. I doubt the 47 comes just because of the injuries last week, but really, I think you should be able to score pretty well and get you like a 35 in this one at that price. And then Matt Dury comes back into the side at 9,800. You can see all the games here, at the beginning of the season, where he got 28, 32, 35 in games where he played sort of closer to 80 minutes. He should be able to get 80 out in this one, and he's that cheap guy that you might want to have a look at, along with Ogden, who scored well last week, and Makatoa. So a mixture of those guys. Obviously, Helam Lukey coming off a really bad one in amongst some, a really good game before that. So he's going to be the Rocks and Diamonds guy in that forward pack for the Cows. Warriors and the Broncos comes up next, and we lose a lot of Broncos forwards, so you should see some cheap ones that will be able to get decent game time. Here in the outside backs, I think Chance is the guy you need to select, just under 14k. He's going to be able to do a pretty solid job. Always just does his job around that 40 mark, and when he gets to play that full 80. Tristan Saylor is the man on a mission here at 9k in the fullback position for the Broncos, and I think he'll be able to score pretty well. You've still got Reynolds in there, so I think whilst Reynolds is there, they'll be able to still play pretty well. And then Herbie Farnworth is their best outside back, obviously at 19,450. If you have the extra cash, then go up to him. If you don't, then stay away, obviously. In halves hookers, it's one of 3 players you can select. Johnson, Reynolds, obviously, but Johnson a bit over $3,000 more expensive. Reynolds with the low one in his most previous game of 13.5 just hurts his price a little bit, which means you can get him a tad undervalued. But then it's Freddie Lussick in there at 9,900, who looks like he'll get some big minutes in this one, but he's a bit of a scary one, and I would prefer you to pick Luke Metcalf, who obviously hasn't played this year, but when he does get his opportunity, very much a scintillating player, and at 9k, he has to come into your squad. In the forwards, Adam Fanua-Blake, I'm very much expecting a try out of him in this one, him or Tohu Harris. I think you can only select one, but please do at least get one of them in your side. In terms of other guys in this list, Capewell and Ricky, the only 2 real mainstays in that forward pack for the Broncos there. I expect Jensen and Hetherington to play some big minutes, and then you've got Palacia as well as the other starter. He's at 9k, so there's every chance that he gets sort of 50 or so minutes as well and is worth it. So very easy to get some cheap guys in the forward position, and mixing that with one of those top guys. I think one top guy and a couple of cheapies, so you can get a Johnson, a Reynolds, and other great outside backs. Let's go Rabbitohs Raiders, and outside backs for them. A few things change. Obviously, Latrell is out. Campbell Graham looks like he will play, so I still think the Bunnies with Cook being there as well will be able to dispatch of the Raiders here. They lose both of their edges, which means Horsburgh's playing out of position, and Corey Harawira-Naera comes back as a potential option here today in Draftstars as well. So in terms of this, I think the outside backs, you probably need to select the South guys, and that's Johnston, Tass, these types of players. Obviously, Tane Milne has been a solid one there at 10,200. And if you're looking at outside backs for Raiders, then I think it's Albert Hopewadi who's been very consistent. But they do have Nick Kotrick on the bench, so there's every chance that by the time game day comes around, he will come into that, or he's used as a guy that could maybe he's just used there for coverage. I'm not exactly sure, but just keep an eye on that one because that's going to be important for the outside backs you select in this match. I really expect Damien Cook to come out and play a much better game. So him and Cody Walker averaging the same of recent time. I think Cook will be able to come out and have a better game than what his form suggests. So him at the 21,000 is probably the best purchase in this group. And then the forwards there, you've got Joe Taps and Horsburgh. I think with Horsburgh playing 80 minutes, he becomes obviously important. Almost as important as Tapine as well. So both those guys averaging similar. Taps, gets the 13 role. And I don't know how much it changes. He's played 59 minutes or 58 minutes last game and still wasn't able to score that well. Just picked up a 44. So you'd imagine a bounce back game, but I'm not sure how important he is at 20k when you can go lighter for guys like Tavita Totola, who I expect a minimum of a 40 in this game. He's got 44, 48 in his last 2. Jacob Host will be okay. Hame Sele will have to play some decent minutes. So will Liam Knight. All of the 3 of those guys will have to play, the edge guys like Host will play close to the 80. And then Liam Knight covers for Cam Murray. So every chance that they need him to be able to score at least over 30 in this, just with those minutes that are going to be available. And that's all I would select in the forwards. And then the last one, team. We will go through the Origin game next week. So I'll do the next week's games on the Wednesday, just so we can cover Origin as well when that comes up live on Draftstars, which is going to be plenty of fun. And if you haven't signed up yet to Draftstars, guys, hit that link in the description. Just lets them know that you've found Draftstars and play up through my videos. So big thank you all of you guys for watching for sure. Can't thank you enough. So let's go to the outside backs here. Dane Gagai again has been notably dropped from the Origin side, and I think he'll be having a point to prove, even though he's still been playing great on a regular basis for the Knights. Anyway, I feel this is going to be a fairly close matchup considering Ponga is going to be back, and I think you need to select Ponga in your side. Miller is now on the bench, so Ponga back to fullback. I think you get him in your side before any of the other options in front. Then it's Gagai, and I think Ruben Garrick is going to have to carry this squad a little bit if they want to be able to do really well. If you need a cheap guy on the flex or the second outside back, then KO Weeks gets the chance at fullback. The last time he played fullback, he only got the 23.9, so wasn't super great, but I don't think you can get any worse than that. And at 9k, if he has any chance of getting a 40 plus, I think you need to get him in if the minimum is like a 20 odd. Halves hookers, there's Schuster, very cheap, obviously 11,600. He's sharing things with Cooper John, so Cooper is obviously going to have to lead things around, so Cooper or Schuster, both are going to do good things. Cooper was great during the trials, which meant that he did a lot of the kicking, ran them around a bit. So if he does play, he's going to be the one to do that great job. And if he doesn't, guys, Jake Arthur will come in, and he's at 10,480. Has played one game and got 35. So if he comes in, then he's probably the guy that you select. But, Josh Schuster obviously is able to get plenty of try assists like he did on the weekend to get a 50 score, which is great. And you got Crossland and also Hastings. Hastings, the most expensive guy. Not averaging anything crazy, but a 43 last week was a little bit low on his end. And then you're looking at the forwards position just to round things out for this video. Adam Elliott comes back into the starting side, and I expect him to have a pretty good game in this one. He picked up a solid score last week of 39. I expect a 45 plus from him in good minutes and being able to do good work out there. Ethan Bullimore has been came off the bench last week and had a cracker. His lowest score in the last 6 games is 33. So you're looking at 14,000, a floor of 33, and a high score over about the 60 mark. That's great news, obviously. Kepi gets to start as well, so keep him in your thoughts. Jack Johns in the 11, so out on the edge there. I think this is a good opportunity for him to play good minutes with Frizzell being out. He did really, really well when he played, the last time he actually played decent minutes, so keep him in your thoughts. And Sam Fainu there, he will get the bulk of those minutes on that left edge with Ben Trebojevic out. So keep an eye out on all those guys. And then Ola Kawatu, a massively high chance to be able to go out and score really, really high. Lachlan Fitzgibbon and Ola Kawatu have been really low the last 2, but Ola, I think he can come out and get a try, especially given he'll be marking up he'll be actually marking up on Fitzgibbon. I was going to say he's going to be on the other side, but no, he's up against Fitzgibbon. That'll be a really fun matchup there. So I wish you all the best of luck heading into round 13, guys, for Draft Stars. And I'll see you next week before that Origin game so I can help give you your tips for that. See you later.